Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Caleb here tonight. Boomer, Caleb.
Boomer.
And just to let you know, Rob is out and about tonight, preparing himself and the stadium for the big game on Sunday. He had to stay and work a little bit, so Caleb's going to be on more often now that the season has started, right, Caleb?
Yep, and summer is almost over with, so job slows down.
Yeah. But remember to, whatever you're listening to, subscribe to us on your phone, your app, music app, whatever you're listening to. Also, make sure and go check out tailgateconnect.com. Dan Donnelly, the Tailgate Ninja. The UCLA Sooner Tailgate is sold out, and there's no more tickets available. But we will be there, and you can swing by and say hi, I'm sure, if you're out in California for the game. Also, check us out on YouTube on Thursday night at Louie's on Campus Corner, where we're always at. Go by Louie's anytime, get some good food, cold drinks, and tell them that we said hi or sent you. They'll just look at you funny. They don't know us that well. No, they know us pretty well. But also, remember, we're keeping this out there, is check out QB1 on Netflix. Season 3, Episode 9. You've got your Sooner Football Fans podcast, me and Rob, on there. You can hear us. Short little blip, but we are in the credits, so it means it's official. And coming out Thursday night, what is the date on Thursday? The 29th. Tailgater Radio online will have a video and audio podcast of myself and Rob and the lovely Teresa talking about Sooner football tradition, Sooner tailgating, and what to expect at Oklahoma on a game day, all the things that go on all across town. He also did a story with Houston that'll be a part of it as well, as obviously we're playing Houston this weekend. So we will be tweeting out information on that, and on our next podcast we'll let you know where you can go catch that at. But we had a great time with John from Game Day Media and Tailgater Radio. So, Caleb, we haven't had any of your input all summer long. Yeah. Where do you want to start? Oh, by the way, also here in a little bit we'll have John Jennings from our buddy John Jennings from Bennie and Buds.com on to talk some Sooner football as well. So we'll be getting to him here shortly. So, what do you want to start with, Caleb?
Everything, I guess.
Everything?
Yeah.
Let's start with the defense, okay, because you know my feeling of the defense. Rob has already drank the Kool-Aid. This is going to be a good defense. We're going to be, twice as good. We can't get any worse, so on and so forth. What are your thoughts on the defense?
I think it all starts up front. I think for what I hear is apparently our D-line's probably the most improved unit out there. And especially if Redmond stays healthy, and we have him and Perkins on the edges, that's two pretty scary dudes out there. And then I guess Gallimore has been taking this all stuff super personal, and I think if our D line plays to what they're capable of playing of, with the 4 or 5 stars that they brought into, that can change everything. Because even for our bad secondary, we could put pressure on the quarterback. That helps everyone out. Yeah.
Well, James Hill on today's podcast that was out said that Lincoln and the rest of the coaching staff and pretty much all the players says the best group on the team right now is the defensive line.
Which that's the best thing to get here to me, honestly, because that's been our part of weakest group in the last few. Even worse, our secondary, I would say, because we can't force pressure or anything.
Apparently, they are improving every day. They're all stronger but slimmer, faster, and everybody says that front is the talk of the team right now. So
you got 3 guys that, from what I hear, is on the radio and stuff, and from insiders, is apparently Redmond's just a monster out there, and when he's going, no one can really block him because how strong and fast he is. And then Gallimore is just finally living up that 4-star, 5-star. He lost all that weight, and he's quicker and stronger. And then you got Perkins, who proved last year, and in the time he played, that he's already a beast. So he might get more one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the only thing is we can talk about the defensive line, and yeah, they need to be better, but the defense as a whole was, everybody knows it, terrible last year.
Yeah. I mean, plus that makes their linebackers' job a lot easier too with Murray and I guess White and who's a third one that they're saying, because they haven't released a depth chart still.
Yeah, they haven't released a depth chart, so I'm not sure. They'll probably will in the next couple of days.
Or is it 4-2-5? Wait, was it Grinch runs?
I think it's a 4-2-5.
Yeah. So yeah, White and Murray.
Yeah, but it's a completely different style than what Oklahoma has seen in a long time. And attacking up front, single gap. Their job is to get into the backfield and cause havoc through a particular gap. The linebackers are responsible for the other gap, which that hasn't been how Oklahoma's played in years. So it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be fun to watch as long as it works.
Yeah, I mean, while I watched Grinch's defense at Washington State, what made me excited the most was they do shifting, and they move around, try to confuse offense. Like with us, last 4 or 5 years, we just sit back and don't do anything, and then pretty much get taken to us. And then that's what gets me most excited for it. But then I gotta see it still. I got excited last year at the first 2 games, so
as everybody did.
Yeah. So I mean,
what are you going to do if on the first, third, and 4 we got a 10-yard cushion on the receivers?
Well, especially against this team, I'm going to freak out because not only that they have speedsters all out there, but their quarterback could maybe be the fastest guy on the field. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a deja vu pretty much, which I don't want to see this year.
Yeah. So that's your take on the defense. So are you drinking the Kool-Aid, or I haven't? Rob is pouring glasses and drinking it every day.
I got the powder out.
Okay.
I haven't made it yet. The water still hasn't been made yet either. The powder just sitting on the counter.
Yeah. See, the powder's still in the cabinet, and I haven't even got the pitcher out to start stirring it.
Yeah, I don't got the pitcher yet. Just got the powder. Yeah. That's the only thing out yet.
When will you be comfortable to drink the Kool-Aid?
Texas game.
Yeah. See. That's my boy. See, there's a reason why he's my son. That's exactly what I said.
Texas game will prove it all because their run game is going to be a big test, and they be the best there with Creed Humphreys in the country too. So that's when we get tested up front. So I mean, in Texas games when we kind of right week before Iowa State when we realized our defense was bad again. So
yeah. So offensively, Oklahoma has had historic seasons the last 3 years. Statistically, Baker Mayfield was the best quarterback, ever.
Until last year.
And then the next year, he was the best quarterback statistically ever until last year, and Kyler Murray. So does Jalen Hurts come in and become the 4th consecutive best quarterback in the country?
I don't think passing wise. I think passing numbers. I think be somewhat close. But I think what he could separate him would be his running.
Yeah,
because I mean he's going to be maybe the biggest guy on the field.
Yeah,
in any given play. So I mean, I think his passing actually is going to be good. Maybe not as good, but not a small drop off. I think his running is going to be a difference from this year's teams and last year's teams, 2 years teams.
Yeah. Now we've talked about this before. When Caleb made the bold prediction back at the Big 12 championship game.
After, like I said, Jalen's going to be coming here, right? I mean, it just made sense. I mean,
nobody was even talking about it. It was the SEC game and ended and stuff, and you were Caleb had gone down to the Big 12 game and came back and was like, "I'm telling you, Jalen Hurts is going to transfer to Oklahoma," and we all thought he was still drunk from his trip to Dallas.
Yeah, a month later.
He was right. Maybe you should drink more often and make predictions.
I mean, it just made sense to me because we were watching the SEC championship game, how he brought them back, and it's like he wants to play, and the way he took Bama down the field for that comeback, it's like he should he's one come here because it's like where else would you want to go? Your grad transfer, you can play instantly. Like you want to go play for Lincoln Riley, and then play for a team that can maybe get revenge on Alabama.
But I mean, the most part is he wants to get into the NFL.
Yeah, and this is a tryout for the NFL. It's not a tryout for OU. Like this is him trying to show everyone. Like if you listen to him talk last week, he's all about proving everyone wrong.
Right. Like
he was pretty much saying it. Like it was what Eddie said on Twitter. Like he pretty much said "F you" to everyone without saying "F you" to everyone.
Yeah.
Like he was just he seems like he's on a mission and he wants to prove everyone wrong.
Well, the 3 teams he looked at, I mean, Miami, James Hale was talking about it again today.
His quarterback coach went there, right, or something.
Yeah, and Maryland, either one of those, he could have gone and played. Period. Yeah. Without a doubt, he would be the starting quarterback. Yeah. He came to Oklahoma because Lincoln Riley has built an offensive machine here that puts quarterbacks in the NFL. 2 straight first-round picks as quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's the third first round, but if he has as near of a season as what we think he will, he's going to be a first-round pick, probably the first 5.
Yeah, if he proves the arm that he thinks he has, and that what I guess is expected in Lincoln's offense staff, he proves he has the arm. Like, there's no reason for him not to be. But that's a big thing to do to prove. Because, I mean, he'll be the first quarterback Lincoln has that's actually a prototypical size quarterback. Like, I mean, actually probably bigger than that. Like, he's a big dude. So, I mean.
And fast.
Yeah. I mean, he's big and shifty. So, I mean, that's why I'm excited to see him run in the open field, especially in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Because he's running over big guys in the SEC, and then he's going to be playing against guys half his size.
Yeah.
And just trucking them. And then apparently they have that huge transfer running back that's making a lot of noise out there, too. Yeah. I picture that goal line set with those 2 guys out there. Like, how you stop that one?
Well, and then, one of the guys that we met the other night, Austin Stogner, apparently he is the best physical tight end. He will put his hand in the dirt and tear pretty much everybody up. So we get in the goal line situation, 2 tight ends with Calcaterra, with Stogner, and big quarterback, big running backs, and then all of a sudden you go, wait a second, they got 2 tight ends who could just step out
and catch.
And
then you got CD, and you also got CD Lamb on the outside too,
right,
who can.
So who are you going to cover?
Yeah. So I mean, that's another thing I'm interested to see. Is actually our biggest concern is our red zone defense. We're the worst in the country last year. So.
We were the worst at just about everything last year.
Yeah, but we were dead last in red zone. If someone got in red zone, they scored.
What did you think about Grinch saying that he wants 3 turnovers a game?
Oh, I mean,
that's 30 turnovers. That's like unheard of.
I mean,
in a season, it's a goal.
It's a goal to have. I mean, but still, I mean, that's what he does. Like, I mean, I think that's the goal for a defense like ours. Is like, we don't have to be great, but if you force turnovers, that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
Like we can break some and like give up points, but if we force turnovers, like we're gonna blow like if our offense is anywhere close how it has been, we're going to blow teams out. Because our problem last year, I think we had 12 turnovers or something, if that.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was – if we get turnovers, that's huge, especially with our offense, because then we put more pressure on them for them to score more. I mean, that means it makes them more dimensional. So, I mean, that was the problem last year. Every game was close. So, we had to play both the run and pass because it was still close throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
So, I mean – plus, I guess they have balls in every room that they punch.
Yeah, they have to punch. Yeah,
they punch. Every room they go in, they have to punch a ball.
It's in all the defensive meeting rooms. They have a big ball on the spring.
I like that. I mean, I like that he's teaching turnovers because that's one thing that got me angry last year. We'll be in the right spot, but we want to turn around and look for the ball.
Right.
I mean, obviously, if he's preaching turnovers, if you don't do that, you're probably going to get taken out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I think we're going to see. Not if you make a mistake, but if you continue to make mistakes. He seems to be a lot like Lincoln is defensively as Lincoln is offensively. What happens if you fumble a ball in the game? You get yanked. You don't go back in the game.
Especially, I mean, I feel bad for the running backs this year. Make one mistake for what Lincoln's saying. Say he were 5 deep pretty much at running back.
Yeah.
So he trusts all of them. So
yeah, I mean, you drop the ball. It's not if you miss a ball, but if you fumble or you're not taking care of the ball as a running back, you're going to sit the rest of that game. And you know what? If the guys behind you step up, you may sit the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's looking at with these corners. If you're not going to turn around, knock the ball down, turn around, catch the ball, do something, pretty much I can put anybody out there to do that.
Yeah.
I can go out there and do that. I mean, I can cover and not get an interception probably most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see something different. Like, I mean, who knows if it's going to be great? I mean, it should be great.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just excited to see something different. And I mean, if Lincoln nails this hire, then it can be one of the biggest hires in NCAA history with having great defense with our great offenses.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is his first big hire that he's really had. So see how he does with it.
So what else are you looking out for, or what's been going on that you've been keeping your ear to the ground on?
I'm still worried about kickers still because I don't know who's going to kick the ball for us. So I mean, that's one thing I'm still worried about. I'm trying to think. Offensive line interests me just to see what they look like, because we'll have like all 4 new starters that really haven't played.
But man, they are some big kids.
They're big. I mean, they said like if it all plans out right, they should be the best. They could be better than what we have because talent wise, they're better.
Yeah, in a couple of years, they're not going to be better.
Not this year. This year, like we just need to be, I think, good.
Yeah,
close
good
to great
solid
this year.
line is what we need.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the freshman receivers, which one's going to be the first breakout? If not like the ones we have from last year. You got Rambo. You still have Stoops, I guess, out there still making plays.
I mean, James. I mean, I'm not even going to try to act. I don't have near the knowledge that James Hill has, but he just rattled off a bunch of receivers last night that me and Rob had forgot about. It's like, holy crap!
You got Stoops still. Like I say, he's still out there killing it. We have like a couple more 4-stars like out there. So I mean,
yeah, but we've been focused on
the freshmen,
on the triplets.
Yeah,
and Austin. Whoa, hold on a second. The arsenal of skilled players is amazing.
Yeah.
on the offensive side of the ball.
Like a running back, like I said, this is probably the deepest our running backs has been. Corner to leaking in a long time. And then receiving core, like so good that we have a 4-star guy transfer to the defense because he can't get out there.
Yeah,
I mean he went from being a 4-star receiver to trying to be cornerback.
And he's doing a really good job at being a cornerback.
So, I mean, hopefully we won't see him this year because I was listening. Like probably not a good sign to see if he plays this year, but maybe in a year or two, because he's learned all the schemes, way he play. But I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to see which one of those freshmen step up first. Like who gets the first touchdown?
Austin Stogner.
Think Stogner gets first touchdown?
I think
Bridges gets
not anything against Calcaterra. I just think Stogner is one of those guys that has it. I mean, he's bigger than Calcaterra. I think he's faster, and we've talked about it. Out at Louis, with you and Rob and everybody out there, the guy is catching everything. It's like throwing it into the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, he catches it. I mean. And that's what everybody is saying. Plus, when you put him down in the 3-point stance, he's going to tear up whoever is across from him. He is not afraid to hit. And I think he's going to shine, maybe not take over, not surpass Calcaterra, but I think he's going to play a lot more than what folks are anticipating.
Well, what hurts me, though, is because, like, the other guy that's behind Calcaterra is Lee Morris. All he does is score touchdowns. Yeah. So, I mean.
Well, see, and that's the thing that was weird the other day that I read when I was reading stuff, what they said about Lee Morris. It was almost like, man, he is so important to this team, and he does this and he does that. Special teams. It was almost like they were saying, you're probably not going to see much of Lee. Yeah, he only does is catch touchdowns. I mean, he had, 11 catches last year and 9 of them were touchdowns, something like that. And that's not it's not a fluke, but it's kind of a fluke.
I mean, he just scored every time he touched the ball. So, I mean, that's why I like him.
I mean,
and then,
my God, if they throw it to him on Saturday and he catches and he goes for a touchdown, don't take him out of the game.
I mean, like, if I had to bet, I don't know. Every time I hear someone say, everyone says someone different is going to score. I heard Bridges is going to score first. I heard Theo's going to score first. I mean, no one knows because they're all making plays out there, which is a good thing. So, I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other one is Braden Willis. You remember Braden? He was the tight end down in Texas. Played wide receiver, and then quarterback got hurt.
Yeah,
he's him and I can't think of the other guy's name. The H backs are really doing well. I think Braden Willis is going to be one by the end of this year is going to kind of maybe separate himself. They're going to play on both, but there are things that both of them do better than the other one. Braden's. Like James said, he's never played it before. He's never had to go through the line and crack a linebacker and put him on his back. He's never done that. Yeah. But yet he catches the ball a little bit better. So there's just something about that kid ever since I've seen him. I think he's going to step out. As far as on the defense, I think Gallimore and Murray, I mean, we said it last year about Murray, but I think those two are going to they're due for a breakout season. Murray had a bunch of tackles. He had a bunch of missed tackles. He shouldn't have had to make as many tackles especially the Army game, which was ridiculous. But at least he made them. That's where I'm wondering who's going to separate themselves and step out and become the all be all, the hail of the defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because we haven't had that. I mean, we've talked to guys. Rufus Alexander was one. Teddy Lehman was one. Calmus, McCoy. We've always had that defensive it seems like, that defensive guy that sets the tone, and we haven't had that the last 3 years.
Yeah. Like I said,
we were hoping it was Buki last year.
Yeah, but that's a lot to put on freshmen, I think, too, though. I mean, that's just this is a lot to do with that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, I would probably say one of the two captains to be Gallimore or Murray, like you said, because they can do, it starts with them. Like, if he makes like it easier for Murray can be Murray has a talent to be maybe one of the best linebackers we had. He just has to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's fit.
He's physically more gifted.
One of my favorite radio guys, Sam Mays, has said he looks the part, runs the part, everything is the part, except he ain't played football yet.
He's just. I mean, I think once because what people say about Mike's schemes that he changes every week.
Right.
I think now he knows what he's doing and just go out there and run the ball.
Yeah.
He's good. And when he did that against Army, that's why he had all those tackles.
Yeah.
Because pretty much is a
and
simple
the dude
offense.
is fast, man. He was running people down.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Murray has a chance to be that guy because even like NFL scouts, they look at that guy. They say that guy has first round talent on him. Like, he has first round talent on him. He just has to go out there and prove it.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I had put money on him, it'd be Murray. But then Gallimore, I think, is a close second. And then I think the two sophomores could have a huge breakout year too. Yeah. So I mean,
another thing I think it was pretty cool is he's only been here since January, and he was voted captain.
Jalen
Hurts
It's not surprising at all.
Well, but it's cool. Not surprising, but it's cool. I mean, here's a guy that's been here 9 months, and they already have the respect enough to say, "Hey, lead us."
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was getting frustrated when people are acting like, "Oh, this is Jalen's." Just kind of like he's not for sure the starter. Like this guy only lost 2 games in his career, and one of them he almost won. It was a national championship game that he probably should have won. He lost to Deshaun Watson. He went crazy on the last drive, and then last year during him and Tua going head to head, it was head to head battle.
Almost half the season.
Yeah, I mean it was a head to head battle. They shared reps the whole time.
People don't remember, Saban screaming at the ESPN female reporter, "You guys are trying to get me to say something bad about it." He was playing. Where could he go wrong with playing them both? At some point, he made the decision, and it was Tua.
Yeah, it was Tua because you can't really argue. But if Tua's better, Jalen apparently was that close behind him.
Right.
So I mean, another thing with Jalen too, just from everything you hear about him, he's not only just a leader of the QBs, but he's a leader of the offensive line. He goes and talks to the defense, gets them pumped up.
Right.
He goes and talks to everyone on the team, and gets them motivated. All the players coming in, they respected him, but then actually being around him, his work ethic and everything else, I think it got even gain more respect for him.
Right. Well, what we need to do right now, before we get John Jennings on with us from BennieandBuds.com, we need to remind everybody about the tailgate this Sunday. Tailgate like a champion. It's going to be big. There's a bunch of people on Twitter already talking about coming. So you can go check out our feed on Twitter to see some of the people that are coming. There's people from Facebook that are not on Twitter that are coming. And then there's people we don't even know that even said anything will probably come because it's open to all.
It's open to all. I mean, I'm pretty sure people will see when that's what happens when we have big tailgates. People just see a big crowd and they just come because it's a big crowd.
Everybody is welcome. It's on the corner of Jenkins and Brooks, the northeast corner, north side of Brooks. And we are right in the middle of all the tailgates on that corner. Their tailgates are all around the sidewalk, and then there's one tailgate dead in the middle of all of them, and that's us. We'll have our banner up with our logo, so whatever you're watching or listening to on, just look at your phone, and it has our little logo on it. You find that, and that's where we'll be at. We don't charge. We'll have burgers, sausages, sides and stuff, adult and non-adult beverages. Come and enjoy it. If we'll have a a donation jar. If you want to, you have a few and you feel like donating, donate. If you don't. It helps us. It's a lot of work to put on a tailgate, and we love doing it. We love meeting everybody. We don't expect anything other than you to come and have a good time, but there will be a donation jar out there for you to drop in donations, and you're welcome to every single one of them. So I think that's it for now. Let's get
I got a couple questions.
Okay, you got a couple.
I never got your season prediction. I'm pretty sure you said it already, but would you
season prediction. Well, here's my prediction. 2 things, and I'm not quite sure on it. We may have to talk about it more tomorrow night. My for sure prediction, if Oklahoma loses a game this year, regardless of when it is, they will not make the college football playoffs. Mm-hmm. Okay?
I don't believe in that.
The reason why is they've made it the last 2 years, and they didn't get embarrassed, but everybody knew there was no defense. Oklahoma wasn't going to win. And if that's the case, now if the defense improves, I just don't think Oklahoma's going to get in. Oklahoma to get in this year is going to have to go undefeated. I could be wrong.
I think they can lose one game. I mean, it just depends who it is and when it is. But I mean, my thing is too is like, I think it depends on everyone else. I think Pac-12 is out of it. I think they're done already. I mean, they could, but I just don't trust the Pac-12.
Yeah, if there's a bunch of 2-loss teams out there,
only team that scares me is I guess if Georgia can get in, but we can see what happens there.
I think it's.
I don't trust Ohio State yet. And then Michigan still has to prove it. So yeah. I mean,
I don't. I honestly think that this committee is moving towards we are not putting 2 teams from the same conference in. I mean,
I think it would be hard if Georgia and Bama are both undefeated and playing in title game. I mean, but then again, you get that storyline. The reason why I think it could happen, Jalen versus Tua.
Well, that's true. I mean, money talks.
Yeah, everyone's been saying that since he came here. Tua versus Jalen in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean that's what guys said last year because Kyler Murray. We want to see Kyler Murray versus Tua. I mean, if that's a possibility that we could have Jalen versus Tua in the playoffs, I mean that helps us a lot.
Well, I think Oklahoma's going to make the playoffs. It's really hard for me right now. So
you got them undefeated?
It's really I look at the schedule and I go, who really
Baylor? I think
has a chance. I mean,
I think Baylor beats us. I think we lose one game.
Who looking at the schedule is like, who is going to beat us? Well, any of them could.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially honestly the way we played the last 2 years. But if that defense is, if it's improved is what they're saying and is more attacking, I don't know. I mean, it's just really. Lincoln has outscored pretty much everybody in the Big 12 the last 2 years.
I said
that's what we've done is outscored them.
For how dominant we've had the most dominant offense almost ever the last 2 years, and we've barely beaten teams because we can't stop no one.
Right.
I think it makes a difference too. If we have a still crappy defense and our offense is still all time great, that could hurt us. But if our defense is just a little bit improved and our offense is still somewhat just as good, then I think that changes everything because. No, you haven't seen us with a good offense, good defense before. So, Then what's your prediction for Sunday?
Sunday, I think we're going to win. Probably, I'm going to stick to like 42-28. I think this defense is going to do what I've been asking them to do, or what I'm hoping that they will do is do what I've been asking them to do: get 4 stops and hold them to 28 points or less. Because Lincoln's going to score more than 28 points.
If they go score the first 2 drives, are you gonna
I might walk out of the stadium.
I'm not gonna lie, that this team does.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a top 10 offense going against the worst defense, and it's the best offense going against the worst defense.
The only thing different from this time than last time we played them is just I just think their defense is worse than ours. So I mean. I think it'll be close to the probably fourth quarter. I think we'll pull away. Maybe even mid third quarter we'll pull away.
Yeah,
because I got so much respect for the quarterback that I think that they can.
I truly hope it is not a Texas Tech game with Baker and
shouldn't
Mahomes.
Be. I mean, I think worst case scenario is we'll just run the ball on them and then milk the clock.
That's I think going to be the biggest thing. Is I think you're probably going to see more
power run.
10 play 5-minute drives, 10 play 6-minute drives, and just going to keep the ball away from them. You do that, and I think that's what Lincoln's wanted to do the last couple of years, but the defense wasn't able to hold up their end. And plus, what are you going to do? You can't tell Kyler, or you throw a pass to Hollywood or anybody, and it's designed to get 12 to 15 yards, and he
breaks it
gets
out.
A step. I mean, you don't tell him to fall down. You go score.
That happened multiple times last year. That we need to give our defense a break. We just can't help that we had the 2 fastest players in the college football team. So,
but all right, well, let's get John on from BennieandBuds.com. All right, Sooner fans, as we said, on the phone with us right now. From BennieandBuds.com, we got our buddy John Jennings. Boomer, John.
Boomer, guys.
How's it going, man?
Well, it's good. If anyone's been reading our blog, we've been a little slower than usual. And if you're wondering why, it's because I had a baby in June.
Congratulations.
I was going to announce that. Congratulations. So
thank you. We're still writing, but just a little slower pace.
Yeah. Yeah, kids will do that to you, and even when they're 26 like Caleb, they still do it to you.
Yeah.
So
It's a lifelong.
Good to know.
yeah, it doesn't get any better. They're just able to talk. So, yeah, how is it being a new dad, and how's the new mom hanging in there?
She has been wonderful. She's just like born to be a mom and all that stuff. She goes back to work next week. I've been back, for like 2 months, but got lots of good baby time. I guess it was Saturday. Well, Friday night he went to his first high school football game. We went to the Trojan preview, and then Saturday we were watching that Florida Miami game. So he's already getting a taste of his future life.
Yeah. Now I did see the pictures on Facebook of you guys at the Jinx game. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I gotta refresh myself. So I guess you're more Jinx than Union, right? Or does it
what's
matter?
that?
Are you more Jinx or Union when you're in Oklahoma?
are you a Jinx guy? Or
Oh, we are Jinx people. I've had season tickets forever, and we are Jinx Trojans.
Who's the coach there now? Who did they hire? Because the one that was there forever, didn't he retire finally?
Well, so Alan Trimble got ALS, which is a really bad disease.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of had to step away, and they hired one of the assistant coaches. And I'm embarrassed to say I'm struggling to remember his name, but he'd been there for several years and stepped up, and they were okay last year. So I think it was a good transition.
Yeah. Well, they dominated enough, them and Union. It's time for somebody on this side of the state to finally do something. So
Keith Riggs.
Yeah.
Keith Riggs is his name.
Keith Riggs. Okay.
Yep.
But what else there? And I don't know if you've listened the last couple of nights or the last couple of days. This week we've been, it's game week, first game. We always try to get a bunch of people on to get everybody's input so everybody can hear what everybody's thinking. So, Blinken Riley was Monday, JY from the Brainiacs was Tuesday, James Hill with yesterday, and so today it's you. So, no pressure, okay, man?
You got 3 Sooner legends and then me. So. Enjoy, everyone.
Yeah, so, but another thing, I think y'all had it last year, and I think I brought it up, but I really like your new logo and website, the dual wagons, and that, not that you had a bad, view before. I just think it fits you guys better. It's more appealing what you guys have done with your website.
Thank you. All credit to Tattoo Baker.
Oh, really?
Real nice.
Yeah, he's good at that. He's he went to high school with my oldest son, and I didn't know it until about 2 years ago. So, so did y'all just hit him up, or did he hit you guys up?
I've been looking around for a little while because we were trying to kind of professionalize our image and all that stuff. And I think I just kind of started crowdsourcing it, and then he said, "Let me do it." So he gave me some options, and he's really good at it in a quick turnaround. So he's a Sooner Blue Blood, so he was very helpful.
Oh yeah, and he does. I send him stuff, all the GIFs or GIFs, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called, but they
showing your age there, Dad.
Yeah, GIFSs, whatever that is. I send stuff to him and say, "Hey, make this for me." So we've got one that he did that's Blinken. If those of you don't know, he likes Busch Light beer. That's what he drinks. And so we've got one when he annihilate somebody. We put a GIF out there, and it's Blinken opening up a Busch beer, and it says Blinken across the top of it. And he did our Boomer Sooner one, but Tattoo is really good at that stuff. So
we have to update our symbol now with me and Rob losing all of our weight.
Yeah, Caleb and Rob have lost like 100 pounds, 120 pounds each. So I'm starting to be the tubby one in the group. I'm going to have to get on a diet.
Wow, what are you guys doing?
I just been eating chicken and black beans and going to the gym, and I guess Rob got a sleeve.
Yeah, Rob had the gastric sleeve done back right after the season, January, February.
That's why I started my diet.
Yeah, they started about the same time, and what's crazy is Caleb's been losing weight at the same speed Rob has. So, but I mean, they both been doing a a real good job, and Rob shared it on the podcast back several months ago. But health reasons, he had to get things rolling, and Caleb, I think figured out he was going to be a hermit the rest of his life if he didn't lose some weight and find a woman, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but yeah, so we're going to have to update our deal before too long. But
well, congrats to both you guys, and also if anyone's listening who's single, sounds like Caleb.
I'm looking. So yeah.
Well, Caleb and Rob are both single, so
that's true. Yeah.
Rob's always asking for stalkers. He goes, if you want to stalk me, hey, I'm available. So I keep telling him one of these days somebody's gonna, take you up on that.
I'm pretty sure he has a couple already.
Yeah, he does. But I never had that problem, so I don't know why. But now, hey, did you see our picture on Facebook with the group of Sooners the other night at Louis'?
You know what? I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about it. I never considered myself tall. I always considered myself average. Rob's like 6'2", 6'3". Caleb's like 6'3", 6'4". And I'm standing there with Calcaterra, Stogner. Who else was there? Caleb.
Wasn't
Mordecai?
Mordecai was there. Is it like
Yeah, and I look like the dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, I look like a dwarf standing there amongst those guys. I didn't realize it until I looked at the picture. I was like, dang, I'm short.
Yeah.
I'm tiny. Those are some big kids, man. But they were at Louis', and we asked them for a picture, and they all just gathered up and took a real quick picture. Nice kids. So that's a good thing about living in Norman. It was when you see them, they're all pretty much
pretty laid back.
Yeah.
As long as you're not crazy.
So, but John, we talked about a few things, via text and stuff or DMs, and where do you want to start on this, on the stuff we were discussing about talking about?
Well, I think a good starting point is OU's schedule this year, and I've got some concerns.
Okay. You think Oklahoma has a weak schedule?
I think OU has a really weak schedule, and the numbers back me up.
Okay.
So I was reading an article on ESPN by Bill Connolly, and they break down every team with these really advanced numbers, and they some really smart math person did this, not me. But I put it all in, and they did a strength of schedule based on the projected wins. So, for example, they have OU winning, it's like 11 and a half games, or something really good.
Right.
Same for Alabama. They did a strength of schedule based on that. So, just as an example, Alabama had the 12th best strength of schedule, Georgia 11th, Michigan 18. Those are all kind of typical for good teams and good conferences. You all want to guess what OU's was?
I guess 75.
50.
73. Very good guess.
Dang.
Caleb.
Which was the worst in the Big 12, worse than Notre Dame, worse than BYU, and worse than every team in the ACC, Pac-12, Big Ten, and SEC.
Yeah, but I think...
Which means that... Go ahead.
I think some of it is our second game, okay? Yeah. North Dakota, that's going to be, basically like what FAU ended up being last year. Our offense is going to be out there 9 minutes, okay? We're going to get to see a lot of Tanner Mordecai and Spencer Rattler in our second game. I think that has a lot to it. I think the Big 12 is going to be better than it has been in a long time this year. I think Baylor's on the rise back up, which just drives me nuts because I hate Baylor. Iowa State, Texas is halfway back. They're not back.
So I got quite if the Big 12 represents good in the before the Big 12 play, does that change that at all, or do you know if that changes throughout the year or?
Well, yeah. When you get a real strength of schedule, you have to have actual.
This is projected. So yeah, okay.
So they're thinking that Oklahoma has a Well, where does the rest of the Big 12 end up in that? If we're
Texas has to be high because they're playing LSU. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Did you check the other one? Who else in the Big 12?
Yeah, I've got it right in front of me here.
Awesome.
All right, so a couple of things impacted this too. One, that there's only really one elite team in the Big 12. OU doesn't get to play them.
Yeah.
And secondly, OU's non-conference is so poor. But just as an example, some of the other strength of schedules: OSU 57th, Texas 27th, TCU 43, Baylor was 62. They always kind of schedule poorly.
Yeah.
But even West Virginia, who will be very bad this year, they're 23rd.
Yeah, their schedule is actually crazy. Like they open up, I think, with Missouri, and like they could start the year like 0-6. Like their schedule's crazy to start the year.
Yeah. Well, see, and it's funny, we were talking about another subject on it earlier. Me and Caleb were, but kind of goes along with this is I think Oklahoma this year will have to go undefeated to get into the playoffs. And kind of like what you're saying is the strength of the schedule could hurt them getting in the playoffs. Is the committee, even though it's different people every year or however they do it, I don't know, but they put Oklahoma in, a one-loss Oklahoma in 2 years in a row, and Oklahoma performed well in one, should have won one game, but their defense, gave up too much, and then last year was basically the same thing. I mean, it started off terrible, ended up not as bad, but if our defense is like it was 2 years ago or last year, I just don't see the committee letting Oklahoma back in. I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, it's just like they're going, man, unless what Caleb said, which was...
Well, I got two things I said. One was like, for us to be better this year, to be a playoff contender, our defense is going to be better.
Yeah.
Because I don't think our offense is as good. And also, if they have the matchup for Jalen versus Tua, they're going to put us in there.
Yeah.
Because that will sell.
Yeah, money. That's money. Everybody will watch that game. But it kind of, goes along with what, Oklahoma's going to have, if they get beat, Oklahoma, if they get beat, their strength, like I said, their strength of schedule is going to jump up and bite them. And the committee's going to go, we've done it twice. We're not going to do it this year. We're going to give somebody else a chance. What do you think about that?
Well, let me tell you how much respect you have for our second opponent.
Okay.
We're playing South Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if either want to tell me anything about South Dakota, who their coach is, who their best player is, what their mascot is, no one knows. So
it's a coyote, isn't it?
I thought it was a rabbit. I don't know.
No, that's another. I think
I don't know.
It's a coyote. I know they play in a dome, or not a dome.
Well, they
indoor.
have to.
Yeah, because it's freaking 90 below in October there. And is it not the Coyotes?
I don't think it really matters who they are.
I don't have my Phil Steele magazine, so I have no idea.
But
it goes to show how little respect everyone has for our second opponent. And I do not think OU should be playing these FCS opponents. Like, it's so beneath us.
Yeah, and there was something happen. I don't know what it was. Something had to have happened because they haven't been on the schedule that long. Somebody either had to have dropped Oklahoma.
I think we need a filler for Army because then we do back-to-back, and I think we separate with Army for...
Yeah, that you may be right because Army, I think...
Doing next year, Army.
Because, their stadium's being renovated, and they wanted Oklahoma... in at West Point, but there was talk that it may be at Yankee Stadium even next year, so that may have been it. It was that Army said, hey, give us an extra year, so Oklahoma shifted some stuff around. But you're right, it's we got no business. I mean, we laugh at Alabama for playing Citadel. I mean, this is a terrible.
And we've got a bunch of these coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Who else who do we got coming up?
We play some of these teams again. It's maybe 2 years from now, and like maybe 3 years from now, and then one's like 7 or 8 years away.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which teams it was. We played one of them twice, I think. I don't remember if South Dakota or someone else. But
yeah.
I think it's just money-wise, I guess. I guess it's hard for get teams to play the home of homes, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean...
Well, yeah, FCS opponents are really a lot cheaper to schedule. So, like, we played Florida Atlantic, we played Tulane, teams like that. but there's only so many of them. So if they're asking for $500,000 and these guys are asking for 100,000 or whatever the numbers are,
Yeah.
I get the appeal of not paying someone just to beat them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and really, I mean, even your low tier, Division I teams or FCS teams, it's who wants to come to Oklahoma and play, even with a home and home, even for the money. But Tulane, you're coming in. I mean, you don't expect to beat them, but you got to prepare to beat them. You know what I mean? It would, but on the other end, the deal like UCLA, that's not Oklahoma's fault. They were good when Oklahoma scheduled them.
Those are the 10-year things.
Yeah, and they're just down these last several years. But yeah, I'm with you though. The Dakotas, there's no reason that Oklahoma should be playing somebody like that.
So, do you think if we lose the game, we have no chance to get in, or?
Well, if we lose to South Dakota, we have no chance.
Just lose South Dakota, we have to get rid of the football team.
I remember that game. Man, it was probably like 15 years ago or 10 years ago when Michigan lost to Appalachian State before they were.
Yeah.
And I remember Carr got fired that year. But
yeah.
Anyway, no, I think OU could probably lose a game, but the other piece that you have to remember is what happens across the college landscape.
Yeah,
because
right. That's what I was telling my dad
there's
too.
4 undefeated teams. No, we don't go in. If the other one-loss teams are, say, Washington State and pick a random team.
Yeah.
Let's say Purdue is a freak season. No, we got the OU in our helmet, so we would get it.
Yeah.
The only thing that really scares me that if we lose a game is Georgia and Bama, because I think Georgia's really good. And I think Bama is obviously Bama, and if they go in undefeated, that's the only thing that worries everyone else because they proved it before. They'll put 2 SEC teams in.
But I'm serious. I really think they're trying to get away from that. The only scenario I see that happening is if Bama loses. If Bama is not going to get left out with one loss ever. Okay, from and they get to that point, but they're not going to get left off with one loss. Neither is Clemson, but because they've but I really think that if Georgia loses, then this committee bumps. I don't think they like having 2 teams from one conference. I don't like it. I don't think it's, because, John, I think you and I and Rob have talked about it before. The SEC is really, they talk about how great of a conference is. Really, it's 4 teams.
Yeah.
And always has been.
Well, the advantage to having a marginally, I would say, weaker schedule because, really, like you said, the difference is that UCLA is bad, playing an FCS team instead of a Conference USA team. And the Big 12, overall, there are teams that are better, a little bit worse. I'd say the conference is down just a little bit. But the advantage is OU can probably run the table again. There's no game that really scares me. I think Texas will be good. But beyond that, I don't know what team scares me. Even Iowa State's going to play in Norman. So,
yeah. They beat us in Norman 2 years ago.
It'd be nice going undefeated.
Well, but we know who they are now.
Yeah. It'd be nice going undefeated. We haven't done that. We haven't won undefeated in the regular season in 10 years, pretty much. So,
honestly,
nice change.
This game this weekend scares me. Because they've got a top 10. They had a top 10 offense,
top 5 offense.
Yeah, and Oklahoma had one of the worst defenses. Now we had the best offense, and they got a bad defense. So, it's going to be bad defense versus bad defense. I think our defense should be better than theirs. I guess that's the best way to put it. But I'm really concerned that we're going to see a 45-42 deal. It's not my prediction. I'm putting a little bit of faith in the Sooners defense, but this game scares me. The Texas game doesn't scare me, but it's always a concern. And to be honest with you, Baylor is on the rise, and I hate to say that, like I said, but that one kind of scares me. Iowa State, I think Iowa State, it's going to be us and Iowa State, honestly, in the Big 12 championship. I think Iowa State's going to come along and knock off Texas this year. But
I believe we want to see it.
Yeah. And the thing with Baylor is it's like the perfect trap game because OU plays Iowa State, and then a week later Baylor comes to Norman, and then the week after that we play TCU, who might be bad, but they're always well coached.
Yeah.
They've got good recruits, all that stuff. So it's perfect spot to come into Norman and beat. I'm sorry, it's the perfect spot for OU to go down to Waco and steal a win.
Yeah, and
that's the game that scares me the most is the Baylor game. Like, besides Texas, because they're Texas, but I mean the Baylor game on the schedule. I look at it, it's like that team, just because right where you said, right where it's at, like either they're gonna be good or they're gonna be playing for like that'll be their Super Bowl right there. So I mean,
and the last 2 years, even when 2 years ago when Baylor was bad,
they put up a fight.
It was a dogfight. I mean, we didn't beat them. Our saying is we outscored them.
Yeah,
and there's a difference in beating somebody and outscoring. But those two teams. What about you, John? What games what are you circling as games?
Yeah, I mean it's just hard. I think there's a lot of really bad teams. I think Texas Tech will be down, Kansas State will be down, West Virginia will be down, Kansas will be as bad as they normally are.
No,
Baylor's
come
the natural
on.
choice.
Kansas is going to be bad. They got Les Miles up there now.
Hey, last time Les Miles came down here, he beat us.
Give him like 2 or 3 years. I bet they will win a few games, and they're going to beat someone they shouldn't. But I don't think it'll be us.
I mean, it can be done. I mean, we laugh at Kansas and we laugh at Kansas State, but there's been coaches. I mean, not just Snyder, but what was the OU coordinator's name? Big guy, Mangino.
Mangino, yeah.
Mangino.
Yeah, I mean, he had good team. He took them to the Orange Bowl for crying out loud.
He had all-pro corners on that team.
But it can be done at Kansas. It's just they're Kansas. But
I mean, how funny if Les Miles beats OSU this year?
That would be hilarious. And Texas, but I don't expect them to be good yet. But I mean. So which one are you pulling out of the hat and going, this one? What do you think about this weekend? Does this weekend scare you at all?
The first week is always scary if it's not some super easy team because you don't know enough about either team.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it scares me. On the other end, I'm not worried about OU's offense under Lincoln Riley. I think we've got that figured out. We don't have you remember the issues in the last few I don't know, probably the second or third to last seasons under Stoops when we had to bring in Blake Bell to get half a yard. I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick a team that kind of might sneak up on us, honestly, and this kind of hurts to say, I think it could be Bedlam.
Ugh.
It's back in the
it's in Stillwater.
Week of the season. They really hate us. It's in Stillwater. I don't think they'll beat us, but that's a game that it's always competitive, even if it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean, last year was a prime example of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That one shouldn't have been competitive, and it was here in Norman.
We should have lost that game, honestly.
Yeah. But. Well, we can go back in the last 2 years, and you can, we should have lost
2 hands.
How many games we should have lost that we just outscored people.
Yeah,
and which kind of brings up the next topic we were wanting to talk about was the difference in the defense. Now, everybody out there knows me, on the podcast. I ain't drinking that Kool-Aid. I haven't even opened a pack. This defense is going to have to prove to me that they're any better. And I'm not being the negative Nancy. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything else. This is the same guys that played last year. There's some freshmen coming in. I know it's a new scheme and stuff, but my concern is with this defense, if, the first series this year, against Houston on Sunday, they go 4 plays down the field and score a touchdown. Is this defense going to go, holy crap, here we are again, the same thing last year? Oklahoma scores and Houston scores again. That's all it takes in this first game is for them to get slapped around and get a couple of big plays, and these guys could have their, head in the dirt.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts, John? When do you think the defense? When do you think they're going to improve?
I feel like there's a lot of years where we say, when is OU going to show their actual offensive playbook? because we'll play some really easy teams to start the season.
Yeah.
So, the question is, when are we actually going to see them do the things that have kind of been promised under Grinch, all the speed D? And I really wonder if we're going to finally see it in the sixth game versus Texas, because I think Houston's respectable. I think UCLA is respectable. Tech, Kansas to a lesser extent, but none of those 5 games really scare me. I think they're all ones we could just outscore. We could just play really bad defense and still win, which is precisely what happened last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first game they're going to have to be good and have to show us that they can put pressure and guard the pass and stop the run, which is frankly it's those teams that typically beat us.
Yeah.
Like Texas, like Iowa State. So I'm hoping to see everything we've been promised against Texas.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, you're sitting here with me and Caleb, and like I said, Rob's already bought into it. So we're glad he wasn't in Jonestown when they handed out the Kool-Aid, but it's and my reasoning is the last 3 or 4 years I was like, they're going to be better. They've got to be better. We can't get any worse. And every year, man, they have gotten worse to where. Again, you realize Oklahoma has played football for 125 years, and we saw the worst defense they've ever had.
Yeah.
Now, granted, 125 years ago, they probably didn't keep statistics like they do now, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Everybody has said in the country, this is the worst defense Oklahoma statistically has ever had. So 125 years of football, we get to tell our grandchildren that we watched and your new child that you saw the worst defense Oklahoma ever had. How does that make you feel, John?
Shocked, befuddled. We get 4 and 5-star guys on defense. They get to practice good on good against the best offense in the country year after year, and then they just flop. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they just get killed in practice all the time, and they have no confidence. I mean,
and that's the thing. We talked to James last night. Now, we've talked to some of the players from time to time. We don't not on the air, but we've talked to them, and fans like us, fans like yourself. Everybody wanted to blame Mike. Mike's not a bad defensive coach. Maybe he, sometimes passed him up in relating with kids and stuff like that, maybe. But nobody can tell you what was wrong with the defense last year. Was it effort? Was it coaching? Was it, development? Well, yeah, it was all those. It was all bad. Okay, well then where does that fall? You know what I mean? It's how does a program like Oklahoma let that happen when you have one side of the ball that is so dominant and amazing, and the other side of the ball is so anemic and dying?
It falls on Lincoln. You guys were in the same game as me in Pasadena when we were in the third quarter thinking, oh my gosh, OU's back. We're going back to championship game. And what happened? Of course, the defense melted. And did Lincoln Riley make a change in the defense?
Nope.
No. Mike was back for the 90th season on defense, despite the numbers being so bad and losing games. I mean, how many championships did we give up? Possibly because Mike Stoops was still around.
No, I guarantee you that one at the Rose Bowl, I had. This is why I don't drink the Kool-Aid right now, because and you're getting me upset, John. But that game, we would have beat Bama that year. We were that team. We should have beat Georgia. Should not have stayed with the points that we were ahead at halftime. That game, some of it came back on Lincoln as far as the play calling, and let's face it. I mean, I saw on what is it? Pardon My Take, when they had Baker on there. Was it Pardon My Take, or was it?
He's on Pardon
They asked him, what happened in the Rose Bowl. You come out, you're ahead, and he goes, "Well, we took our foot off the gas.
Yeah.
It was a decision to change. Okay, we're ahead. Let's just stay ahead."
I mean, they showed that with the swip kick whenever like he would kick the ball out of the end zone every time, and then get a swip kick.
Yeah, but they took their foot off the gas. In a game, and that was a learning experience. In a championship game, a semifinal game, you got your foot on their throat. You leave it there and press harder.
Especially a team like Georgia. Georgia has just as much talent as OU does, if not better talent. So I mean,
but then, we thought, hey, we were the 61st or 65th defense, wasn't it, John? Something like that. 65th, 66th that year.
Something awful, yeah.
Yeah, and we can't. Only way we can go is up. Nope.
Last year was embarrassing bad. Like it was. Like if we get pretty much after every game, like the West Virginia game, we didn't score. Oh, we lost. I walked out of the room like we lost this game. The game's over. Like that's how bad our defense was. We didn't get a stop. I thought the game was over because you should never think that with any team like that. I mean, especially in football. Like football is a long game, but our defense was so bad last year that if we didn't get a stop, I thought the game was over.
And Kansas put 40 on us.
Yeah,
Kansas. I don't care.
Puka's a good player, but still,
yeah, Puka put 40 on us. I don't care if they bring people out of the stands. Kansas should not have put 40. Or if we would have got out there, I think we could have kept Kansas from scoring 40 points.
How confident were you on that OSU 2-point conversion?
None.
Zero confidence.
Zilch.
And that's how everyone felt. That's what has to change.
Oh, you know what? And I tell you what. For whatever reason, Army came out in overtime and trying to throw the ball was the dumbest thing they would do. If Army would have scored, Army would have gone for 2, and Army would have won that game. They should have kept that dang ball on the ground. They did it all game long. All they had to do was score a touchdown and turn around and get. They average, what was it, 4 yards a play against us?
I mean, this fullback up the middle. They spent the fullback up the middle the whole game. They beat us.
We should have lost to Army. But for some reason, they decided to throw the ball when they really didn't need to, and that's all it took, But, oh, John, this is supposed to be enjoyable, man, and you're like...
Well, we can get our demons out.
I think what we're learning is that OU should have come back in the second half of the Rose Bowl and just run triple option the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Try to score 21 on us or whatever it was.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and I know people out there are buying into it because they're fans, and I get it, man. I mean, I that's what I love about Oklahoma football. It doesn't matter who they hired, people would be eating this up, and they should. It's their team, but I'm just that type of fan. Is that, man? I guess there must be some part of my family from Missouri because they got to show me before I'm going to step in and go, yes. Now I think Grinch is the right hire. I think this defense is going to be really good in a couple of years. I just don't know if it's going to be that good this year.
So, I said earlier, I think it all comes with our D-line. Our D-line's my biggest thing for us this year because that's one thing we couldn't do. We have to blitz all the time to get pressure. Even that Texas game. Biggest play of the game was when Trey Brown blitz and got the safety. Like, I don't think for us to be good, we shouldn't have to blitz for us to get pressure on the quarterback.
Which, again, I will say this, which was a great time play, a great play in Oklahoma history, Oklahoma-Texas game history, but the worst tackle in the history of football for a safety. That was a horrible tackle. Watch that thing back in slow motion.
Man, can you imagine if he didn't knock him down?
Yeah. Have you really watched that, John, real close?
Which play are you talking about?
The Trey Brown
safety against Texas. The worst tackle ever.
In the championship game.
Yeah. I mean, he hits him with his forearm, and he should have wrapped him up and buried him in the dirt. But it was, if you watch it, it's kind of a weird flaying arm tackle. You know what I mean?
He's him with his chest.
Well, I'm not going to watch it then.
I mean, it was great. I mean, I came out of my seat screaming and hollering, jumping down. But now, almost a year later, when I look at it, I'm like, oof, man, that was a terrible tackle.
Can we speak about some positives?
No, I remember it differently, so I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great moment.
Yeah,
so
it's
awesome.
still a great moment.
We still see Ellinger get knocked on his ass, so that's always great. But I mean,
but still, the best thing about that whole deal too was that they cut to what's the defensive coordinator's name?
Ruffin McNeil.
Ruffin McNeil, and he looks like he's asleep.
Yeah.
In the press box. No emotion, no nothing, just sitting there. So, but it was a great moment. But let's get on to
Positive.
better
Talk
things.
about the offense.
Let's talk about So, what was your impression, John, you guys at BennieandBuds.com when Jalen came to Oklahoma? What was your first reaction?
That's a great question. I kind of thought he wouldn't. Honestly, I feel like people don't usually come to OU, even though that's what's happened to the last two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But then once we got him, I almost felt. On one end, I'm very excited because he's one of these just team players, great guy. Like, I think he can kind of will the team to win in a different way than Baker did. Like, he's not the big personality, but he's just, he's someone I think other players will look up to. But I also wonder stylistically if it's going to work, because the way he runs the ball is different than Baker or Kyler. Baker could scramble forever. Kyler can run faster than any player in the field. He's just kind of a big, bulky guy, and I think his runs will they're going to look different. They're not going to be for 50 yards. And maybe that helps the defense.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fewer snaps they have to take. So I think I'm cautiously optimistic. It's a big ask to have him replace those two guys, but again, the schedule lines up nicely. He's got a long time to get everything to gel.
Yeah, and the Big 12, they haven't seen a quarterback like him. They hadn't seen one like Kyler. They hadn't seen one like Baker, and now Oklahoma's got another one. They haven't seen a big, physical, strong running there, because Jalen will lower his shoulder and put a linebacker or a corner on his back. He is that big, So they may have seen similar, but they haven't seen somebody this talented that big. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's see if they're built to stop it. We bring something new every year, so yeah, like you said, good luck stopping this guy.
Yeah, and then I've said it all along. Personally, historic. Is it going to be a historic offense? I don't know. What Oklahoma's done the last 3 years has been phenomenal, but we don't have to have historic. If we're 90% of the team we were offensively last year or the year before, or even 80%, that's still probably the best offense in the country. It has been the most efficient machine out there, and it may not be as fast, but if it ain't broken, it's going to still be that efficient. It's just going to be efficient in a different way, if that makes sense.
Better, I think, maybe with the exception of the offensive line, we're going to have some really good receivers back. CeeDee Lamb, we're going to have our running backs, both those guys. Let's see. He may not have all the pressure on him like maybe we're expecting.
Yeah, I mean, he has more targets than Baker. I mean, I've said this before, over and over. He has more targets than Baker and Kyler had combined. You look at the triplets, the freshman receivers, CD and the experienced receivers, Calcaterra, Stogner, Sermon, Morris. I mean, it's crazy. Now we got a new offensive line, and that's the heart of the game, heart of the team. But we talked with JY from the Brainiacs about it. They're not that good, but remember, these guys were the backups to the greatest, the best line in football last year. They didn't get a lot of playing time, but you know what? In practice, they were going head to head. And Bedenbaugh's going to, it may not be ready. The final deal will not be ready until Texas. I guarantee you that. He is going to make changes on it, but that's what he does. I mean, he evaluates and he sees and he moves. But I think the line's going to be fine. They're going to struggle for a while, but I think by Texas, it's going to be solid. And man, they're giants. They're huge. It is ridiculous how big everybody is. The smallest guy on the line is 6'3", like 285. That's the baby. You know, everybody else is 6'5", 6'6", or above. So, and athletic. But, you know, I don't, you know, are we going to have historical offense? Are we going to have a really, really good offense? Yeah, I think we're still going to be in the top of almost probably every category. Caleb.
Yeah, you know those O-line guys are going to be 4-star guys. You know they'll be well coached. And frankly, like we said with the conference this year, the offense could be a little worse and still make the playoff and be just as dominant.
Yeah. I mean, we've just had 3 phenomenal years of offense, and you know, again, 80% of what we've been, or 90%, is still phenomenal. I mean, it's crazy, you know, and everybody's worried about Jalen. Can he throw it downfield? Man, Lincoln is the king. And, you know, we know that, you know, we had D.D. Westbrook and Hollywood who could stretch the field and, you know, run past people. But, man, you know, Lincoln is the king of setting a defense up, you know, for what he wants it to do. Or what he wants to do against it. And that's not going to change. If Lincoln decides, and then you've seen it the last 2 years, in a lot of, well, not all the time, but I mean, in most games, if he decides he's going to run the ball, guess what Oklahoma does? They run the ball effectively. If he wants to throw it around, guess what? Oklahoma throws it around. He does what he wants to do with, you know, against who he wants to do it against. His problem is he doesn't have a defense that could do that.
Yeah.
There was a period last year where I think Lee Morris had, I think the second most receiving touchdowns, maybe the most, but you know, the guy's a walk-on. So
yeah.
I think OU will always have the targets. So if he can, yeah, like you said, people say he can't throw it downfield. Fine, throw it to the tight end.
Yeah.
We can run the ball. We can throw it over the middle. There's just we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, you know, and you know who says he can't throw it downfield? You know, I mean, and how far does he need to throw it downfield? You know, Kyler and Baker, they had to throw it way downfield because they had 2 guys that were going 65 miles an hour down the field. If he's got a guy going 45 miles an hour down the field, he may be able to hit that in stride. You know, I mean. And I think he can. I mean, I'm not worried about this offense whatsoever. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it because it's funny. We were looking forward to seeing what it was going to do with Kyler because we thought we were going to see a lot more quarterback run with Kyler. Nope. You know, really the only time Kyler ran was when he had to scramble.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I'm interested to see what he's going to do with Jalen. Is it going to be the same thing? Is Jalen going to be more of a running game, or is he going to do the same thing? That's what I think, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people thought, defenses thought, is that they got this running quarterback with Kyler. It's going to be completely different, and it wasn't. Kyler was able to stand back there and pick you apart if he needed to.
Yeah. I wasn't shocked by that, but
So, John, are you coming in for the game Sunday?
No, I am not, but I will definitely be watching.
Yeah. So you're going to miss the first Sunday game. How do you feel about a Sunday night game?
You know, I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people are pretty mad. Actually, I saw kind of a funny Facebook post about I don't know if you saw the guys who going to games for
the pastor.
Over 20 years.
Yeah. That was awesome.
That was interesting. That's funny.
Yeah.
He gave him like a little, you know,
Pardon?
here's your free pass.
Yeah.
Yep. That was great.
Which,
I think it's actually
it's cool that he responded. You know what I mean? Because obviously the guy wrote a letter to the university, and that Joe Castiglione responded, and you know, I mean, tongue-in-cheek humor, but it was a respect for the guy. You know, I mean, I thought it was really neat, and obviously the pastor that got it, he was thrilled with it. You know what I mean? So, you know, but yeah, the Sunday night game, it doesn't really bother me. The only thing about it that bothers me is tailgates. There's nothing going to be on TV.
Yeah.
for tailgates, there's nobody else playing. There's no NFL, no nothing. So we're going to be watching.
Well, I like it because it's a 3-day weekend, so it kind of keeps it going. Well, yeah, like you said, I wish there were more games on on Sunday and Monday because I'm going to be home and I'd like to watch some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of these Thursday night games or Friday night games, they should have put one of those games on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, because the NFL's are they even doing preseason?
No, the season starts next Thursday, so it ends I think.
Yeah, tomorrow is the last preseason game, so they could have played more games. Well, now feelings on the whiteout.
I am not concerned at all.
Think we're going to do all white jerseys, all white helmets, everything.
That would be interesting. There's been some pictures pop out there of that.
Yeah, I mean, I know we know. I think that stuff's good. I mean, I know fans get mad about it or whatever, but it makes good pictures. I mean, I remember taking pictures at the Notre Dame game. I think it was 2012.
Yeah,
and they had that enormous flag and then the fireworks. It just makes a really great picture. And actually, when it says, I personally said, "What do you think about the whiteouts?" Like, as in the wide receivers.
No.
Yeah, we're good. Perfect.
Yeah,
no objection.
No, the white out. I'm glad it's not striped. Because they put it out to a fan vote, which I thought was cool. They put it out on Twitter. That what do you want? The striped, a white out. I personally like the north side red, the south side white. Okay. Kind of resembled kind of an OU, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a U inside of an O kind of look, but the fans voted for a whiteout. And like you said, I know there's some people out there, we don't need these gimmicks, and the gimmicks aren't for us. I mean, you got to, whether you want to call it a gimmick or not, if it's a gimmick, it's to bring attention to the university and the team. All that does is bring recruits in.
Right.
And in this day and age, it's more than just your record. You've got to put yourself out there. Now, I'm not a big fan of all white, but I've told people I'm going to be on TV though because I'm wearing a lime green vest in.
Why?
You'll be able to see where I'm sitting at.
Make it all about you.
Yeah. So, John, when you're watching, you see what looks like a lime, out there. That's me. So, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see the one guy in lime green.
My eyes will be peeled. I will be looking for the lime.
But I don't mind the Sunday night game. I get, I get while everybody. I'm glad it's not a striped. Do you know why I'm glad it's not a striped?
Because we lose those games.
Yeah, we have a losing record when it's striped. So stop striping it. So, and I because I'm superstitious like that. But, I mean, I'll be wearing a white shirt and a white hat. So. And a lime green vest. I'm not going to wear it for the whole game, just enough to get on TV. So when I'm comfortable.
Well, it shows that you can, honestly, it makes a good picture. It looks good on TV. It shows you can sell at a stadium.
Yeah.
It's one thing you just kind of have to do, and it looks cool.
But the other thing I got to thinking about, Houston is red. So it's not going to be a true, because they will have a section of red. So, and maybe that's why they were pushing for the whiteout. I don't, because it's Houston, and so it's going to separate us. You're going to see this little spot of red over here, on the southeast corner. Is that where they sit? Yeah, I think it's the southeast corner. So but like you said though, it'll look good on TV. It'll shine at night. And Caleb brought up a good thing. There was a picture circulating of Bob Stoops signing some white OU helmets with a red stripe down the middle. Did you see that picture that was circulating around? Well, what was it, last week?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's like a week or so ago, but they're like white, pretty much the opposite of what they are now.
Opposite of what they are now. And somebody put a deal out. It wasn't official deal, but it was like, people, the stuff that, what if Oklahoma looked like this? And it was an all white jersey with the only stripe, wasn't it, Caleb, was on the helmet?
Yeah, it was on the helmet, and then, Yeah,
no stripes on the pants. It was just white jersey, Sooners, red lettering, a stripe, and a red OU. Which, that would be interesting if they walk out in something like that.
Yeah.
They won't come out and I guarantee you they won't come out in
what they're going to wear
warm-ups like that. But when they come out, if they come out in all white, as much as people would be like, "What?" people would go nuts. You know what I mean? Because it would be kind of cool.
When they come out in some different, it's going that stadium, like the olds at home will go crazy, but the people in the stadium is going to erupt whenever they come out in something different.
Yeah,
it's the way you do it. I mean, you don't have a whiteout and not do something special as your team as well. I think they have to do something. I mean, even something little, they have to do something for that game.
Yeah. But well, what else, John? You got anything else you want to kick around for a bit?
Well, I want to know how many people are excited for the Horns Down Donuts.
Horns Down Donuts, or the Hurts Donuts.
Apparently not Rob or Caleb, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Rob was talking about last night too. They're selling a Hurts donut burger.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No.
Yes, and Rob is the purchasing agent for the he works in he runs the concessions at OU basically. But Hurts Donuts has a stand, and they are going to. It is a glazed donut, top and bottom, with a burger inside, which just sounds horrible to me. But they are selling that. And I think they're going to have or I don't know if you can get them at the stadium, but I know Hurts Donuts, you can go there and.
They should have a stand. I think they're going to have a stand. They always have a stand because the Baked Bear has a stand in there too. So,
but James Hill had part of it, and he said it's good. He goes, it's just a glazed donut, but it's kind of cool how they got it
horns down.
Horns down.
I'm more excited for the beer, honestly. I mean, I gotta be honest. The food, I'm like, meh. But actually have a beer inside there, even though it's like $10 probably. But so what? And
John and Mark, and you know this, okay? You've been a fan a long time, and Oklahoma fans are the greatest. Anytime I make fun of us as fans, I'm not degrading us or saying anything about it. But come Monday morning or Sunday night after the game, you will still see tweets and Facebook posts about spending $9 for a beer.
Yep.
We finally got beer at OU, and it's $9 a beer. Well, guess what? It's $9 at Texas Stadium. It's $9 at Busch Stadium. That's how it goes. Which is why I'm not going to drink, probably a lot of beer in the stadium, because $9 buys a lot more than one beer outside of it. But
they brought beer to TU, which is kind of my secondary team. I went to grad school there. They brought beer to TU probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like super pumped. I was very excited for this day. I thought I'm going to go to more games. Down at Skelly Field, which is now called something else, but nonetheless, it's Skelly Field. And I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a dud. Like, you got to walk down every time. Yeah, it's $9. Hey, it's not on draft. It's like out of a bottle or a can. They pour it into a cup. It's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah. But, the first time it was cool. After that, it's going to be. But it's crazy. Rob was talking about on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He goes, I don't understand their math. He goes, but they have an estimate of how much beer they will sell. Okay, he has to order 3 times that much, and because you just don't know, it could sell more. But there's a theory behind it, and the theory is really, when you think about it, it's not that hard of a theory. Is most people are going to buy 2 at a time because they're going to stand in a line for a long time, so they don't want to stand there. So they're going to buy 2 beers at a time, probably twice a game. Okay, and so they got to figure that in, and how much of the stadium will be drinking beer. So he wouldn't share the estimate of what they think it is, but it's a lot of beer that they're expecting to sell. But
well, if we get more 11 a.m. kickoffs, and let's say it's kind of mid-autumn when it's 80 degrees. They're going to sell a lot of beer on that day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, why it's a lot better first one because it'll be so hot. I mean, so.
Well, I know. Yep. I will buy one at the beginning of every game, because we got new season tickets this year, and we're in the ADA, the new ADA section in the north end zone, And we are in, so if y'all want to come by and say hi, wave to me, everybody. We are in section 17, row 1, seat 1 and 1A, because my wife uses a scooter. And what that means is that my seat has a chair back, 2 armrests, a cup holder, and there's a rail in front of me that I can put my feet on. I am going to be the happiest man in that stadium Saturday night. That is,
Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night. I got great seats, but I'm only going to buy 1 beer at the beginning of the game. I'm not spending any more than that. I'm going to sit down, watch the band play, have my beer, and then after that I might go get a $5 water, which again is how it's legal to sell water for $5. I'll never understand.
So all the single women at the games, you got where they sit, bring a beer to Terry, and come meet Caleb.
Yep.
There you go.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to buy me a beer now, I'm not going to turn it away. I promise you that. I rarely turn away a beer, but no, but I'm just so glad the season's here, man. You talk about it for 9 months of, oh my gosh, we're all just jonesing for it, and now it's here. And now we get to really experience it and talk about it. So
nice.
That's the best part.
It sneaks up a lot faster when you have a 11-week-old rather.
Can't speak from experience, but I imagine so.
Oh yeah. Well, I tell this story. Caleb's birthday is October 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, you Texas weekend.
Oh, it's his birthday always fell around that. Now, when he was little, he liked football and stuff, but guess what? He had to have his party. So for up until he was 12 or 13,
I was about 10.
We couldn't ever go to the OU Texas game because we had to have his birthday party. So on Saturday,
yeah,
and my wife worked for a company, and every other year she would have gotten the tickets because she'd always call me. We can go to OU Texas if you want. And I was like, what are we gonna do about Caleb's birthday? Oh, I know. So we'd always ask him, you want to, when we tried to get it to have it before, and he wouldn't ever want, no, I don't want to have it before. So I blame him for my unhappiness in my life. And you will find things about like that with your child, John, just let you know. And you will be able to share it with them when they're 26. You'll be able to tell them.
Well, he was born in June, so if he wants to make me miss Wimbledon, I can live with that. He knew when to be born.
Yeah, but all right. Well, John, as always, we appreciate you coming on, and everybody needs to go check out BennieandBuds.com. Forgive him for being behind because he's raising a new child, but it's always good information, always good reads. And everybody out there knows I can read. I don't read a lot. I'm not a reader, but there are only a certain group of stuff that I read, and Bennie and Buds is one of them. But make sure and check them out. John, we appreciate it, but that's our podcast for today, guys. It's game week. Everybody get pumped for the game. Boomer, Caleb.
Boomer.
Boomer, John.
Boomer, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Sooner Football Fans Podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans, and visit our website at www.SoonerFootballFans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.